If you're like me, one of your biggest challenges with woodworking is not actually anything to do with woodworking, but it's about how busy you are. When in the world can you find time to get in the shop? Because if you're like me, this is not your full-time job, maybe it's a side hustle, maybe it's a hobby, and life gets busy. Family, if you're in school, your job, all of these things can make it super tough to find time to get in the workshop. So here's a few things that have helped me. Number one, get up earlier. If you get up 30 minutes a day earlier than your normal time, then you should be able to spend 30 minutes in the shop if you live where your shop is. And this is what I do. In fact, I don't even live where my shop is, but I get up really early, a few days a week, and I drive over to the shop and I make projects. I do woodworking, I film these videos. In fact, most of the videos you see on my channel, a good bit of them are filmed around 5:30 in the morning. And so if you get up earlier, you will have time to get in the woodworking shop. One more nice thing about woodworking in the morning, and one of the reasons that I love woodworking, is that, for me at least, my day job, I am not doing anything with my hands usually. I'm usually on my computer, I'm in meetings, I'm on the phone, I'm writing, I'm reading. And so that's a lot of brain work. And so while of course woodworking does require you to use your head, it's, working with your hands, creating something, and that is just a great outlet for me. And so even though I'm getting dusty and maybe I'm sweating if I'm outside sanding something in the summer, for me it's relaxing because I'm using a different part of my brain. I'm using a different skill set than what I use in my 9-to-5 job. Number two, kind of the other side of that coin, stay up a little bit later. Now, I'm not personally a huge fan of this. I find for me that if I stay up really late and I'm doing woodworking at night, usually I do more of a sloppy job. I'm like, let me get this done so I can go to bed. It's more difficult if you have like an epoxy pour to check on it in a few hours and make sure it's not leaking, make sure it's setting up the way you want it to. So I'm not as much of a fan of this, but depending on what kind of woodworking you do, or if you're a night owl versus a morning person, then this might work really, really well for you. Just stay up a little bit later and do some work at night. Another nice thing about working at night is it can help you wind down from the day, kind of decompress. I think it's a great way to end your day. I just personally am not most productive in the woodworking shop at night. Tip number three for all of you folks out there who are married is involve your spouse in woodworking. I think for a lot of couples, this might not work for every couple, but for a lot of couples, you can spend some quality time in the woodworking shop. And even me and my wife, sometimes when we're preparing for craft shows, she'll come down to the shop with me and I'll have her, putting cutting board finish on cutting boards or packing up inventory and wrapping it in bubble wrap. And she really, really enjoys that, and we're getting to spend time together. This is a great way to get things done in the shop, but also have quality time with your spouse. Tip number four, for those of you who work at home, utilize your lunch break. I know for many people who work at home, they get an entire hour off for lunch, and usually for me, it takes me about 10 to 15 minutes to eat lunch. I'm usually reheating something in the microwave, eating it, which can leave you about 30 to 45 minutes to get down to the shop, build some stuff, and it's a great way to kind of break up your day. If you're working on your computer, on Zoom meetings or whatever, you can take some time, get in the shop, refresh your brain, and then head back upstairs. And finally, number five, this is gonna sound probably a little counterintuitive, but I actually think it's best to try and find smaller pockets of time to get in the shop more than getting in the shop for a whole day, one day of the week. Now, I'm actually not even able to do this right now, but I would much rather work for 45 minutes a day, every day of the week in the woodworking shop than to work for 8 or 9 hours one day. So many things with woodworking require you to leave and come back, whether it's painting, staining, gluing, epoxy work, whatever it is. And so if you can break up your time in the woodworking shop, for me at least, it's much more effective. One more note about this, after about 5 hours in the shop, I kind of am like ready to leave. And so in hours 5, 6, 7, I find myself doing lower quality of work, generally speaking, because maybe I'm hungry, maybe I'm tired, whatever it is. And so if you can actually find times to break up your shop times and get these little pockets of time, you'll work more efficiently, your quality of work will be higher, and really it'll save you time. These are some ways that I've found to carve out time in my super busy life to get in the woodworking shop. But I'm sure maybe I've missed some things. So let me know, how do you carve out time to get in the woodworking shop? What are some tips or hacks that you use? I would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching this bonus video. I'll be uploading my normal project build this Sunday at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Until then, take care, God bless.